Hey, this is Jason with AIReviewers.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at some long-form content that was generated by TextBuilder.ai's auto writer. Now, this is basically a one-click tool that allows you to enter in some very basic input, and then the article is automatically generated for you. This particular tool generates content in the range of 1,800 to 2,000 plus words per run. It is currently using the latest model of DaVinci that was just released a couple weeks ago. And we're going to use the input that we came up with to test a wide range of long form tools. We came up with some basic input examples for 4 different niches. And so in this particular article, we're going to be taking a look at the long form capabilities of TextBuilder AI's auto writer tool for the gardening niche. So I've gone ahead and added the input into the article title field and the keywords field. And now all we need to do is go over to the one-click magic tools and click generate. And as you can see, the tool continues to build the content. As TextBuilder.ai is building out the article, you will see constant updates happening at the top right-hand corner of your screen. Currently, there are 5 paragraphs and 1,145 words. You can see that just updated to 6 paragraphs, 1,393 words. We're now at 1,660 words. And you can see it continues to build out the article. Here are each of the individual sections. We're at 1,900, 2,100 words. 10 total paragraphs, 2,200 words of content. And now that the tool has finished building out this article, I want to show you something really quickly about TextBuilder's design. You can see that as I hover over each of the sections, you have the ability to regenerate the entire block of text with the click of a mouse. That's super convenient. You also have access to some other tools that you can tap into, and you can click and drag content around if you want to reorganize or restructure the article. But we're going to leave everything just the way it was when the tool finished. And we're going to go over and click on the tab that says Export Text. And now we are going to read the article. And also at the end of this video, we're going to go ahead and run this article through a brand new AI detection / plagiarism tool. This particular scanner will be able to pick up whether or not the content was written by a human or written by AI. It's pretty accurate. And also it detects plagiarism. So we're going to run that through at the end of this video to see how the output scored in terms of AI detection and also plagiarism. So let's jump in and take a look at this article. You've got your H1 here, the title of the article, The Beginner's Guide to Succulent Gardening, what you need to know before you start. Succulent gardening is all the rage these days, and for good reason. These plants are easy to grow, low maintenance, and come in a wide variety of shapes and sizes. They also require minimal watering and can survive in all sorts of conditions. In this blog post, we'll explore the basics of succulent gardening and give you all the information you need to get started. Starting a succulent garden can be a rewarding experience, but it can also be a bit intimidating. When you don't know what to expect, it's easy to make mistakes. To help you get started as a first-time succulent gardener, let's take a look at some common problems you may encounter and how to solve them. Okay, so we've got a list here of 5 problems. Problem number 1, and these could be H3s. You can nest these with more heading tags. Problem number 1, not knowing what type of succulents to plant. There's almost an endless variety of succulents to choose from. To narrow down your search, ask yourself what kind of environment you want to create. Think about the amount of sunlight your garden will receive and the type of soil you'll use. That should help you determine which type of succulents you should plant. Problem number 2, overwatering your succulents. Succulents are very sensitive to moisture and can easily rot if they're overwatered. The best way to avoid this is to only water your succulents when the soil is completely dry. It's also important to make sure your succulents have plenty of drainage. Use a potting mix that is specifically designed for succulents and make sure the pot has drainage holes. Problem 3, not giving your succulents enough sunlight. Succulents need plenty of sunlight to thrive. If you're growing them indoors, find a spot where they can get at least 4 hours of direct sunlight every day. If you're growing them outdoors, make sure they're in a spot that gets plenty of direct sunlight for at least 6 hours a day. Problem number 4 of not paying attention to temperature. Succulents are very sensitive to cold temperatures and can easily die if the temperature drops too low. If you're growing them outdoors, make sure they're in a spot that doesn't get too cold. If you're growing them indoors, keep them away from air conditioning vents and windows that face the cold outdoors. Problem number 5, not pruning your succulents regularly. Succulents can quickly become overgrown and untidy if they're not pruned regularly. Make sure to trim off any dead leaves and stems regularly to maintain a neat and tidy garden. Now we have another heading, Introduction to Succulent Gardening, what you need to know before you start. Introduction to succulent gardening can be an exciting and rewarding experience. That doesn't really work, so that would need to be reworked. Succulents come in an array of shapes, sizes, and textures, making them ideal for creating a unique and beautiful garden. Succulents are also relatively easy to care for and can survive in a variety of climates. In order to create a successful succulent garden, there are a few things to consider before you begin. When starting a succulent garden, you can either grow the plants from seed, propagate them from cuttings, or purchase them from a nursery. Seeds are the least expensive option, although they can take a long time to germinate and require more labor and patience to get them to the point of producing flowers. Propagation is a great option for those who want to add a few more of their favorite succulents to their collection. It's also a great way to share plants with friends and family. When purchasing plants from a nursery, be sure to select ones that are hardy and not too tender, as they may not survive in your climate. Watering is a key factor in the success of a succulent garden. Succulents don't require the same amount of water as other plants and need to be watered carefully. Overwatering can lead to root rot, which can quickly kill the plants. During the growing season, water succulents every few weeks, being sure to water deeply. In winter, reduce watering to once a month. There are many types of succulents to choose from, including cacti, agaves, eucas, winter jacaranda, aloes, portulacas, euphorbias, and sedums. When selecting succulents, consider the size and shape of the plant, its hardiness, and the amount of light it needs to thrive. Once you've chosen and then we see that the AI cut off there, and then we jump into the next section, choosing the right succulent for your garden. Choosing the right succulent for your garden can be a tricky business. There are a variety of succulents from cacti to agaves, eucas, and winter jacaranda that can create a beautiful and vibrant look in your garden. When choosing a succulent, it is important to take into consideration the type of environment you will be growing in, as some succulents are more tender and require more care than others. Hardy succulents such as aloes, portulacas, euphorbias, and sedums are more resilient and can withstand harsher climates. Once you have selected the type of succulent that is best suited to your environment, you will need to consider how you will plant it. Succulents can be grown from seed, propagated from cuttings, or potted in a container. Seeds are the most economical way to grow your succulents. However, they require more patience as they can take several weeks to germinate. So we're seeing some repetition here. This was covered in the previous section. Cuttings are a more immediate option. However, they are more prone to disease and require more maintenance. Planting in a pot can provide the most control and protection. However, it limits the size of the succulent and may require more frequent watering. No matter which succulent you choose, with the right care and maintenance, you can create a beautiful and vibrant garden. Knowing what type of succulent will best suit your environment and the most suitable planting method can help ensure that your succulent will thrive for years to come. Preparing your soil for succulents. Preparing your soil for succulents is an important step in any gardening process. If you are planning to grow succulents from seeds or propagate them from existing plants, it is important to give them the best possible environment for proper growth. Succulents can range from the tender winter blooming jacaranda to the hardy drought-tolerant cactus. Agaves, eucas, aloes, portulacas, euphorbias, and sedums are all succulents that need special attention when it comes to soil and watering. The best way to prepare the soil is to create a potting mix that drains quickly but still holds enough moisture. Soil mixes should contain a combination of organic matter, such as compost, and inorganic matter, such as gravel. A mix of peat, vermiculite, and perlite is also recommended. You should also make sure to add a slow-release fertilizer for extra nutrients. To ensure your succulents have the best chance of success, it is important to ensure that you have prepared the soil correctly. And the next section, planting succulents in your garden. Growing succulents in your garden can be a rewarding experience. Succulents are a type of plant with thick, fleshy, water-storing leaves and stems that are adapted to living in arid climates. Succulents come in a variety of forms, from soft, tender plants like cactus, agaves, and yuccas. So it continues to repeat these same succulent types. So it would be good to go in and edit that and mix these up. Two hardy succulents like winter jacaranda, aloes, portulacas, euphorbias, and sedums. When planting succulents in your garden, it's important to consider the environment and conditions in which they will grow. You can grow succulents either from seed or you can propagate them from existing plants. Again, we've already gone through this a couple different times. So the AI is continuing to repeat some of this information over and over again. So all that needs to be eliminated from the article on the final edit. And you can rework these sections to replace the content that you removed. When planting succulents, be sure to use a pot with excellent drainage, since succulents are prone to root rot if they are overwatered. Make sure to use the appropriate soil mix, either a cactus-specific soil or a standard potting mix. And don't forget to allow for adequate light, water, and fertilizer, as these are all essential for successful succulent growth. When it comes to watering, succulents are generally quite drought tolerant and require only occasional deep watering. In general, succulents are easy to care for and can thrive in a wide variety of conditions. Depending on this type of succulent you choose, you may need to provide extra protection from cold winter temperatures or additional heat in hot summer months. With the right combination of light, water, soil, and fertilizer, succulents can provide your garden with an interesting and unique addition that requires minimal effort to maintain. How to care for succulents. Caring for succulents is relatively easy, making them a great gardening option for even beginner gardeners. Succulents can be grown from seed or propagation. Propagation is the process of taking a cutting from an existing plant and replanting it. Gardeners can also purchase succulents from a garden center. Succulents come in a variety of forms, ranging from tender varieties such as cactus, agaves, and yuccas to hardier varieties like winter jacaranda, aloes, portulacas, euphorbias, and sedums. To care for succulents, it's important to place them in a pot with drainage holes so the soil can drain properly. Again, some more repetition here. Succulents require well-drained soil with plenty of nutrients and water. Watering should be done thoroughly and deeply, but not too frequently. Succulents can tolerate some drought, but should still be watered regularly. For most types of succulents, watering should be done once every week or two, depending on the temperature and amount of sunlight the plants receive. When the soil feels dry to the touch, it's time to water. It's also important to pay attention to the amount of sunlight that succulents receive. Succulents require direct sunlight for at least 6 hours a day, so they should be placed in a sunny spot. If the plants receive too much sunlight, they should be moved to a spot with more shade. Too little light can cause the plants to become stressed and eventually die. Lastly, succulents should be fertilized regularly to promote healthy growth. A balanced fertilizer should be applied every 2 to 3 months during the growing season to ensure the plants have all the nutrients they need. Common problems and solutions for succulent gardens. Gardening with succulents can be a rewarding experience, with many plants requiring minimal care and offering a variety of textures, shapes, and colors. However, these plants can be temperamental and must be tended carefully in order to thrive. Common problems associated with succulent gardens can be divided into two categories: environmental issues and pest problems. So here's some new stuff that we haven't gone over. One of the main issues facing succulent gardens is selecting the appropriate plants. Some succulents are tender, meaning they will not survive temperatures below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, while others are hardy and able to withstand moderate winter temperatures. Examples of tender succulents include cacti and agaves, while yuccas and winter jacaranda are hardy examples. Aloes, portulacas, euphorbias, and sedums are other examples that are adapted to a variety of climates. Another common problem is proper planting and watering. When planting succulents, it is important to use a well-draining potting mix and to avoid overcrowding the pot. Watering should be done carefully, as these plants are prone to root rot if left in standing water. The soil should be allowed to dry out between waterings, and water should be applied until it begins to drain from the pot. Overwatering can be just as damaging as underwatering, so it's important to find the right balance for each individual plant. By taking the time to select the appropriate plants and giving them the care they require, gardeners can create a stunning and unique succulent garden. With the right knowledge, these plants can be grown successfully and with minimal effort. Tips and tricks for growing succulents successfully. Growing succulents successfully is an art that requires patience, but it is worth the effort. With a little knowledge, anyone can create a thriving succulent garden that's both beautiful and easy to care for. Beginners should start by selecting a few hardy varieties, as these will be easiest to grow. Popular succulents include cacti, agaves, yuccas, winter jacarandas, aloes, portulacas, euphorbias, and sedums. All succulents need well-draining soil, and most should be planted in a pot with a drainage hole. If you want to grow from seed, sow your succulent in a shallow container and keep the soil consistently moist. To propagate, use stem cuttings, leaf cuttings, or offsets. When it comes to watering, succulents are a bit more tender than other plants, so you should water infrequently but thoroughly. Water the soil until it is completely saturated, then allow it to dry out completely before watering again. Most succulents require bright light, but some may need afternoon shade in the hottest months. With the right attention, succulents can be a unique and low maintenance addition to any garden. And lastly, we have the conclusion section with a short conclusion paragraph. No matter what level of experience you have with gardening, succulents offer a great way to spruce up your home or garden. With their low maintenance and easy care, succulents can be a great option for those who are just starting out. The key to successful succulent gardening is to start off slowly and research the right type of succulent for your environment. With the right tips and tools, succulent gardening can be a rewarding and enjoyable experience. Okay, so overall, this was a really well-written article. There is, quite a bit of repetition throughout the article that needs to be addressed, whether you rework that content or just remove it entirely. The nice thing about it is you do have 2,200 words of content, so there's plenty of padding in there if you want to keep the word count at least over 1,000 words. This issue of repetition is something that you see with a lot of AI writing tools, so it's not a problem that's unique to TextBuilder.ai. This is an issue that you see quite frequently. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and copy this and hop on over to Originality. And we're going to paste it into the tool and do a quick scan. And Originality.ai is going to scan for both AI content detection and for plagiarism. So it's a 2-in-1 scanner. It's a nice time saver, and it was just launched a few weeks ago. It's currently in beta, but we've been really happy with the tool so far. So Originality AI takes just a couple seconds to complete a scan, even on a longer piece of content such as the one that we just loaded. And you can see the AI detection score, 21% original, 79% AI. So it did detect that the content was most likely produced by an AI generation tool. The plagiarism score is 3%. And this is a nice feature. Originality.ai gives you a list of all the hits that came up for the plagiarism scan. So you can simply click on the view button. It will open the source and show you exactly what block of text, what section of text was a hit for the plagiarism scan. That way you can go back and edit the original article and rescan, and it's very easy to get this down to 0. Also, once you go back and do your final edits in your article, your AI detection score will improve. And there are also some editing techniques that you can do to further bypass these AI detection tools. So after you're done making all of your final edits, you can bring the content right back into Originality AI, do another scan, and get your final scores. As I mentioned, the tool is still in beta, but we've been really happy with it so far. I'll include a link in the description below. You can start to use it to scan your content as well. I'll also include a link in the description below to TextBuilder.ai, where you can get a free trial, which I would highly advise everyone to do. That way you can get in and start using the tool to see what type of content it's going to produce for your individual use case. So that's all for today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. We're going to be putting out some more content, some more example content from this tool as well as other tools. And we're also going to be posting more tool reviews to the channel. So definitely subscribe if you have an interest in AI writing tools. Also, if you have any questions at all about either TextBuilder AI or Originality AI, just go ahead and post them in the comments area below. We'll do our best to make sure that we get all of your questions answered. And if you have any feedback on this video, I'd love to hear it. Do you have suggestions? Are there things that I can improve on that you would like to see in future videos of this style? If so, just post those in the comments area below, and I'll do my best to accommodate you. I want these videos to be as helpful to our subscribers as possible. So that's all for today. Until next time, happy writing.